Your host today for day 2 of the VIP Ignite Model and Actor Summer Jam. Welcome to our amazing day. So some of you are watching me on YouTube. Some of you are watching me on Facebook. My question to you is, why are you doing that? Why are you not here live on Zoom? So my Zoom friends and I want to invite you over. So this is what we want you to do. We want you to come over and join us on Zoom. How do you do that, you ask? Go to VIPignitesummit.com. Again, it's VIPignitesummit.com. You'll get a Zoom link. You'll click on it. You'll fill out the information. Then you'll come join us here on Zoom. Because you know what? Today, you have the opportunity to get discovered by an agent. You have the opportunity to get discovered by someone who's doing a huge project in Hollywood. So why are you over there? Come here. All right. So let me introduce myself again. My name is Denise White. I'm not only your host here for the VIP Ignite Model and Actor Summer Jam, but I am also the publicist for VIP Ignite. I host all of our live virtual events, and I host the VIP Ignite Live podcast. So if you guys are here and you want to learn more about what we do, make sure you subscribe to the VIP Ignite Live podcast. But that's not why we're here today. We are here because you have something that you want to accomplish. How many of you are here because you know that there is something you are meant to accomplish? Type me in the comments. By the way, this is going to be very interactive today. I'm going to bring you a ton of energy, and I expect the same from you. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of rundown of how today is going to go. Let me give you an idea of what I expect of you, what we expect of you. And then we're going to get started. So today we're going to be here all day long. We're going to be here until we're done. Say until we're done in the comments. If you're on set, sometimes you're looking at 15, 16-hour days. That's not what today is going to be, but I want you to know that you are here until we're done. Okay. So today what we're going to do is we're going to go over a lot of amazing information. Yesterday was Foundation Day. Yesterday, we set the foundation for today. Yesterday, we broke down some limiting beliefs that we have about acting and modeling. Yesterday, we learned exactly what it takes to get cast, what casting directors are looking for. Yesterday, we learned time management skills. You might be thinking, we learned time management skills on a workshop for acting and modeling? Yeah, you know why? Because congratulations, if this is what you're doing, you're an entrepreneur. So we're giving you all of the tools and resources that you need. Because here at VIP Ignite, we empower actors, models, and musicians to create their own success by giving you the tools, resources, and connections that you need. And one of the tools that you need is time management. How many of you are already amazing at managing time? You're like, I could teach a masterclass on that. Or how many of you need a little bit of help? If you need a little help, type I need a little help in the comments. That's why we went over that yesterday. Yesterday, we talked about I have the whole schedule here. Yesterday, we talked about how to be hyper-focused. How can you be hyper-focused when you have so much going on? We talked about that. We had Greg Reed, who wrote 3 Feet from Gold on yesterday. He talked about how the most successful people are the most available. But the thing that he taught that hit me the most, and I think hit a lot of our talent the most, was this. He talked about when you have a mentor, when you have a guide in your life, the one thing that you need to do is make sure that when your mentor, when your guide, when your coach gives you advice, you start implementing it. He had the opportunity. He knew he wanted to be a public speaker. So he wanted the best public speaker in the world, the one and only Les Brown. And you know what he did? He said, okay, Les, I just want one tip. I need a couple minutes of your time. I want one tip. He didn't want the whole playbook. He wanted one tip. You know what he did? He went back, he implemented that tip. Then he called Les Brown a month later. Hey, guess what? I mastered that. What's next? And Les is like, fell over. And now they're really good friends because he listened to his mentor. Yesterday, we also talked about social media. How many of you, after yesterday, start working on your social media a little bit? I know I was planning on it, but that wasn't one of the things on my Thrive. But you know what? I'm definitely very cognizant. When I was at the grocery store this morning, I actually bought something because I was like, oh my gosh, if I do a post with this product, it may help a little bit of what I'm doing. It might help my future goals. So I'm all like yesterday, even for me, the social media, we went heavy. We did pretty much 3 presentations on social media. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to start moving the dial forward with my social media. We talked with Michael Fomkin, came on here and lit everyone on fire yesterday, not literally, but figuratively, of course. He talked about what type of model are you? How many of you now know what type of model you are? If you know what type of modeling you qualify for, type it in the comments right now. What type of modeling do you qualify for? What type of modeling do you qualify for? I told you this is going to be interactive. Let's go. Wake up. You were just sitting there listening to me. Let's go. Commercial print, right? Commercial print. The great news is that when people think of modeling, they always think of high fashion, right? They think of runway. But let me tell you something, that's good. But when you are a commercial print model, that's where you make the money. That's where the income comes in, right? And the great thing is that most people fit into commercial print modeling. How many of you want to start earning a living being an actor or model? Type living in the comments. If you do, you're in the right place. We also had Alicia come on and she talked about scam or no scam. How many of you were a little bit surprised? You thought, oh, that's a scam. But then you paid for it. It's not a scam. How many of you were a little bit surprised by that? But how many of you now know the difference between something real and something not real? Years ago, in a former life, I worked for a bank. And the first thing that I did at the bank was I counted a lot of money. I was a teller. I counted a lot of money. See, I still have the, right? And the reason they had me count a lot of money, and I'm not gonna lie, I hated it. It was like, oh my God, this is so boring. But to this day, that was more years than some of you were alive ago. To this day, I can spot a fake bill across the room because I did that. That's why we did the scam or no scam game. We also had a publisher for Cool America, the editor-in-chief of Cool America magazine come on here talking about his journey in the entertainment industry. How many of you would love to be in a magazine? Type magazine in the comments. How many of you now know, okay, you know what? There's a way I can do this. There's a way I can do this. I saw the path yesterday. Michael talked yesterday also about the blueprint for actors. How many of you knew the casting process before you heard Michael's presentation yesterday? You were like, oh my gosh, why aren't they picking me? Well, you know what? You learned not only about a blueprint for your success as an actor or model, but you learned about the casting process. Then we had a casting director come on who's one of the head casting directors for Apple TV. How many of you would love to land a recurring role on a show on Apple TV? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much would that change your life? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much would that change your life? Let me know in the comments. Then we ended the day with millionaire mindset. How many of you caught yourself thinking with not a millionaire mindset, but then you were able to shift it? How many of you were able to shift your mindset when you felt yourself thinking, no, that is not how a millionaire thinks? If you were able to shift your thinking, type millionaire in the comments. Type millionaire in the comments. All right, guys. So today we have a tremendous day. I want you to be on here until the very end because we're going to give you guys an opportunity to do that thing that you really want to do. You're not here because you want your ears tickled. You're not here because you had nothing better to do. You're here because you're investing in your future self. And I want you guys to think about that today. I want you guys to think about the fact that you're investing in your future self. Your future self is going to thank you. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. That's like one of the gold standard books on mindset, right? Yeah, you know what? Let's shoot for millionaire and then we go to billionaire. All right. I love that you jumped right to billionaire, but let's shoot for millionaire first, then we'll shoot for billionaire. How's that sound? Nope, let's shoot for millionaire, guys. All right, but that's not what we're here to talk about. All right, so what I would like to do really quickly is for someone who was here yesterday, I would like for you to share your biggest takeaway with us. So if you can raise your Zoom hand, that would be amazing. And while people are raising their Zoom hands to volunteer, don't everyone volunteer at once. This is what I want. I want to go over a little bit of housekeeping with you guys too, okay? So in the comments, we're not sharing personal information with one another. Here's why. Because we cannot vet everyone on here. And what I want you guys to do is I want you to be fully focused on the speakers. Okay. And here's why I want you to be fully focused on the speakers. If you were to talk to Al Pacino, if you were to talk to Meryl Streep, if you were to talk to any of the any huge stars, they're all still training. So today is training day for you. So what I want you to do is, even if you are a SAG actor that's won multiple Emmys, you've won multiple Academy Awards, I still want you all in on listening to our speakers today, because you know what? A millionaire understands that they're always learning, right? We learned that yesterday. A millionaire understands they're always learning. Type always learning in the comments. So your goal today is to always be learning. Okay. Thank you for posting all the rules, Diane. I appreciate that. Make sure that you are, if I ask you to take notes, I want you taking notes. Everyone show me your pens and papers, except for my friend Joel, who's always driving. Okay, show me your pens and papers. I want you guys taking notes. As soon as our first speaker comes on, I want you taking notes today. And here's why. When you take notes and you actually write the notes down, you're going to remember more of the information than if you don't write notes. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. Just try me for a day and then see if it's true, okay? I also want to make sure that you are going to be drinking water today. I'm going to be asking you guys to drink a lot of water. I'm not asking you that because I want you to go use the restroom a lot, because I want you to take breaks. I'm going to be asking you to drink water because I want you to be hydrated. Your body is comprised mostly of water, and I want you to be hydrated. So if you're like getting tired at like 2 or 3, first of all, I'll make you stand up and move around, but then take a big sip of water, and I promise you, you'll feel better. All right. Also, everyone, if I ask you to volunteer to talk, if you want to volunteer to talk to one of our experts, raise your Zoom hands. Here's why. I can't see everyone's faces. I can only see like 5 people. And if you're not one of the 5 people that are in my eyesight, then I'm not going to know that you raised your hands. Okay. Awesome. All right. So let's see here. April Hosington wants to share her biggest takeaway from yesterday. So April, tell me, what was your biggest takeaway?
Biggest takeaway, I had already done my video like right after this, but what's really resonating this morning was a yes means no. Okay. And a no means no, and a maybe you got something.
That's awesome. How many of you have ever been around someone? Yeah, let's do it. And they're like, we just met. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, let's do it. No, I love that. That was a big takeaway from Greg yesterday for me as well. Because it's just, again, like you always have to be using your discerner too. But I love that. That was a really good one. That was awesome. Thank you for sharing that, April.
Thank you, Janine.
You're welcome. All right. All right. Let's see here. All right. Let's see here. Wanda Banks. What was your biggest takeaway from yesterday?
Good morning. Good morning, you guys.
Good morning.
Oh, I had a lot of them, Deneen. Everything was awesome. It was a blessing to get feedback from each of the speakers. But what I loved about was with Mr. Greg Reed. He talked about what one of them that I liked it with, just to be honest on, like when you're focusing on that one thing, and to basically like to believe in yourself. And it was like, I'm sorry, I was like a rush, but I'm trying to get my breath together so you guys can understand what I'm saying.
We understand. Just relax and talk. You're good.
Yeah. How would just even with knowing that, when he had the opportunity to meet Mr. Les Brown, and Mr. Les Brown ended up giving him a nugget, and that nugget, he took that, and when he got the results from that, he made sure to go back to Mr. Les Brown to say, hey, I am so grateful, and just giving him honor to whom it's due, and also to make sure that you don't forget from like the connections. Like when I got connected with Michael, with you guys, VIP, and Michael Faulkner got me connected to Billy Big Shot Beats, doing the music. I mean, you gotta, and then just also with you guys with connecting with having speakers, just having people to be on one accord with trust management, and how I got a connection with Antoinette, and then with Mr. Vaughn, how he was telling you to, the way you present yourself, always be, have like, again, gratitude, be careful how you respect people, how you treat people.
Yeah.
And you just, you never know when you have respect for yourself and to, oh, wow. I'm just like, man.
No, you
It
know
was
what?
just,
You gave us a lot of nuggets to chew on, Wanda. Thank you so much. No,
thank you. Yes.
thank you so much for sharing. That was all. That was beautiful. Thank you. It's
Thank
always
you.
great to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you too, Denise.
My favorite takeaway from Vaughn was this. I'm just gonna add to what you guys say, because that's kind of what I do. But one of my favorite things that Vaughn said too is always be humble. Always be humble. You know why? Because people want to work with humble people. And that's not, when you think of humility, a lot of times I think it's misrepresented. People are like, oh my God, that's someone who's groveling. No, that's not humble. Being humble means that you are someone who is grateful. You live in gratitude, you understand, and you give the respect due to those who deserve it. That's being humble. And I love that Vaughn talked about that, because like literally, and I know we talked a little bit about yesterday, but I'll never forget the look on his face when he realized the man who discovered him was at our event in New York City. It was like the craziest thing. He was like, Dean, is that? I said, yeah. He's like, oh my God, he discovered me. I was like, that's banana. Like, how is it that you never know the interconnectivity. So it's always so important to be humble. Like no matter where you are, it's always so important to be humble. I love that. All right, let's see here. Ryan Clapham, what was your biggest takeaway from yesterday?
Okay, well, again, my biggest takeaway was the mindset and how you can take and work from that poor mindset to change your trajectory over to the rich mindset. Because if you hold on to your past mindset, you're not going to move forward.
Yep.
You have to make changes. You have to move your trajectory. No one else is going to do it for you.
Yep.
So you have to take that wisdom, you have to take that knowledge, and you have to apply it. It's not easy breaking away from old habits.
No.
And I grew up in a very conservative household where you had to have a job, you had to work 9 to 5, and you get up the same morning and do that. And luckily, I broke that after the military, and because that just wasn't working for me anymore, and I love what I'm doing now.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, no, I think this is something that's thank you. Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate that. But the reason we go so heavy on mindset here is because you don't understand those little things that are holding you back. Like, let me tell you a little bit of my story, why it's actually kind of crazy that I'm standing here in front of you. You guys may not believe this, but I'm really very much an introvert. Like when you meet me in the wild, I like to say, if you meet me in the wild, not on Zoom or not at an event, I'm that person sitting in the corner, just sitting, observing everyone. Like I'm an observer. I'm not like, hey guys, let's go do this. Like I'm not the life of the party. I will be when you guys meet me in Orlando or wherever we're going to meet. I will be. But my normal self is like sitting and just being super low key. Like an idea for me, a good night out is like going to the movies and having dinner and then coming home and passing out. No, I'm not the life of the party. Growing up, I was always very introverted. I was very shy. When I had the opportunity to start working with VIP Ignite, again, I introverted. I was working in a dental office, right? I was like, hey, oh, you're 2/3. Okay, well, let's get you scheduled for a root canal. Like how awesome is that? Like that was like I don't even know how I did that for as long as I did. I knew very little about the entertainment industry, and when Mike called me. And he was like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, I'm working. What do you think I'm doing? He's like, I want you to host a podcast. I was like, I don't know if I actually said this, but I think I may have said this. I was like, are you insane? I've never hosted a podcast. I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, oh, what? You're not up for the challenge? But sometimes you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations so you can find that person who's inside of you. How many of you have put yourself in an uncomfortable situation so that you can grow? And if you don't think that you have, you know what, like let's be honest, the first time you get on a treadmill at a gym, that's uncomfortable. You're like, oh my God, am I going to fall off? I've seen terrible videos about this, but you get on and you start doing it, right? Or maybe you're on this call and you're like, I'm on Zoom. Why am I on Zoom? Thank you, Ruby Ann. I'm on Zoom. Like, what am I doing on Zoom? Like, why am I even here? Well, you know what? You're putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation so that you can grow. Every area of growth comes from being uncomfortable. The only way for you to become that person that you want to be is to get a little bit uncomfortable. Okay. So I want you guys to think about that throughout the day. Again, we're going to have a tremendous day today. We're going to talk about the power of language, your mind, and overcoming your limiting beliefs. Are you willing to check yourself every once in a while when you hear something that used to be true but is no longer true? Are you willing to say, nope, that's not who I am anymore? I want you to type that in the comments. Nope, that's not who I am anymore. Because as you're going through today and you're listening and you're learning, it's awesome because you're here in a supportive group of people, right? We're here to cheer you on. We want you to be successful. I'm going to rah you until I can't rah you anymore. But tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up and I'm not going to be there cheering you on. But what you can do is say, you know what? Nope, that's not who I am anymore, because you choose who you are. How many of you know that? You choose who you are. Literally everything you've ever done in your whole entire life, from the time you were born until right now, has led you to this moment. Have you ever thought about that before? Literally everything you've ever done has led you to this. Every decision you've ever made, even when you made a wrong turn going somewhere, every decision you've ever made in your whole entire life has led you to this moment. And that's why you're here today. So I want you to think about that tomorrow when you're doing that. You know what? No, I know that I have a millionaire mindset. I'm not afraid to invest in myself. That's not who I am. I understand. I have a millionaire mindset. You know what? I know that I always have to be learning. I always have to be growing. I have to be training. I have a millionaire mindset because you know what? I am going to grow. I don't have to think the way I used to, because that's not who I am right now. We're going to talk about being on set. How many of you have been on set? Type on set. How many of you have not yet been on set? Type not yet in the comments. Jail will make you want to change. Anthony, I like that. I want to read that. I've learned that most people don't support your failure because it doesn't challenge their failure to make change. I live my life with meaningful purpose and no longer stay stuck. I love that, Anthony. Most people will be excited. Most people will support your failure because then they can stay comfortable. But we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Okay, so if you've been on set, that's great, because you know what that means, that you know some of the workings. We're going to have Ryan Colby come on today, and he's going to break down what it's like being on set, who's who, so that when you go on set and type when I go on set, you'll know what you're talking about. You'll know exactly what's going on. We're going to have Mark Schoenfeld come on. He's the pitch man of Hollywood. He's working on a huge project in Hollywood. He wasn't born a huge producer. He was born with very humble beginnings, very, very humble beginnings. But you know what? He rose and rose and rose because he knew that there was something more for him. He knew he wasn't meant to play small, and nothing he does he ever play small. You're also going to hear from one of my favorite actors who literally, like, he's classically trained. Part of the reason that he got to where he is because he did theater. He was willing to travel around doing theater. He made good friends when he did theater. And now he's been on productions for American Gangster. He was in the cast of The Sopranos. I'll have Alicia come on before I bring him on. She can go over everything with you guys. And then at the end of the day, you're going to have the opportunity again to audition to get signed by Truth Management, to have representation, to have a team of people fighting for you, working alongside you, helping you to grow. Greg Reed talked about that yesterday. He has mentors in his life. The reason that he's so successful is that when he goes to do something, he finds, okay, who's the most successful at this? Okay, let me get them to help me. All right, guys. So speaking of successful, the first thing I want to do before I bring on our first guest is I want to introduce you to the co-founder of our company, Alicia Kabak. She's the co-founder of VIP Ignite, which allows talent to network and connect with high-level industry professionals in modeling, acting, and music. She has launched multiple seven-figure businesses. She has executive produced 5 Broadway shows that have won 38 awards, including 6 Tonys. She had a successful radio show on CBS Digital. She opened NASDAQ with the cast of her Broadway show Dinner with the Boys, starring Dan Lauria from the Wonder Years. She is a Guinness Book of World Records holder. She is the co-author of Finding Fame. She emceed the Israel Film Festival in New York City with the Prime Minister of Israel in the audience. I would have been sweating. She has been featured in Forbes, Huffington Post, and Entrepreneur. She has shared the stage with such greats as Greg Reed, Russell Brunson, Lee Steinberg, Brandon Steiner, and Les Brown. Her first movie, Target, is currently streaming on all streaming services, and she's about to start filming her second major motion picture. She is a Fox News expert. She currently manages Francis Ford Coppola's protege. She splits her time between Orlando, New York City, and Los Angeles. She has helped over 10,000, type 10,000 in the comments. She has helped over 10,000 talent successfully get signed and book work through her program. She has been in show business for over 2 decades. She has done over 4,000 and counting live presentations. Everyone, please join me in saying good morning and happy Mother's Day to the one and only Miss Alicia Kabak.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How are you? Hi. What's
We're
going
awesome.
on?
How are you?
Good. Hi, everybody. What did I miss? I got a little bit of a late start. I was talking to Deneen this morning, trying to run errands. Hi, happy Mother's Day to everybody. I'm excited for today. Man, yesterday was unbelievable. It was nice to catch up with Aaron. It was funny when you were talking to him and his mom still thinks somehow she's like holding on to a prayer that he's gonna one day move back to Ohio. Dude, living in New York and LA, there's no going back. It's like you've tasted freedom. It's like Dorothy seeing color for the first time. There's no going back to Ohio. Are you serious? No. And I was doing some more research yesterday about the writer's strike, and then we were talking about the director's strike and about the picket line and how you still have to show up to work, but then you can't cross it. So you kind of wait all day until they tell you can leave. Man, I learned a lot yesterday. And then I followed up with Roxanne, who works with Francis Ford Coppola. We're working on a project together, and she has a big movie coming out on Hallmark with one of I don't know which twin it is, whether it's one of I forget, but one of the girls from the Disney shows, Tia, and I don't know, but it was crazy yesterday. And then hearing from Greg Reed, and it was just unbelievable. And I loved when we went over the brand ambassador stuff, and with Ryan, that was a segment we've never really done before, because I do get a lot of people that over the years, they're still applying for those, like, oh, I want to be on the magazine covers. And even with Vaughn, talking about what it really takes to be on a magazine cover, like, it's not that simple. It's well calculated, well formatted. So I thought yesterday was great, whether you've been in business for a day or a year, 10 years, 20 years. I want you guys to think about this. Yesterday was a free call. Yesterday, we spoke to Greg Reed. I don't know if you guys have done your research as to who he is, but he's kind of like a badass. Like, he is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then we spoke to like the CEO of Cool America magazine. We had Michael Fomkin on. We had the former art director of Vogue, who runs a major agency who books not only models, but also actors. Who else did we have on yesterday? We had an Apple TV casting director. I want you guys to think about this. Imagine moving to New York or LA, and some of you guys may or may not know, and I know I mentioned this, but I went to college. I graduated with a double major in TV and film and communications, 5 years of school, $100,000 in student loans. I didn't know anybody other than the other kids in my class that were just as clueless as I was, and my teachers who never made it in show business. yesterday on a call, not only were you able to get real advice, but they were able to see you, right? Think about it. Think about how many years literally combined all of the wealth of information you had. So you didn't have to go and try to do this on your own. And you had questions and like the stories that they told you and like even Aaron yesterday going over, think about it. I do with so many actors who want to be in this business and they're so worried. And I did a Facebook Live about this in the group today. They're so worried about the training and I want to be famous. And yeah, if you want to be an actor, like the training is so important. But let's get in the mind of an actual casting director. Duh. What are they looking for? Like, wouldn't that open up so many doors for you if you knew what the hell they wanted? And literally, he pinpointed, this is what I want. If you weren't taking detailed notes, that was unbelievable. Who would you rather take advice from? The people that you met yesterday or your friends and family that aren't in this business? Tell me, our network or your past network? Type VIP network or past network, because I want you guys to live in the future. I don't ever want you to ever dictate your future, like based on somebody else's past. Do you guys understand that?
Awesome.
Your new network, go big or go home. Think about all of the years that these people have put into their craft to get where they are, which is how now they're an expert. And yesterday, I'm so humbled by everybody that was on that call. Literally, it takes my breath away. Oh my God.
And
So
today,
it was amazing. Deneen, you did a great job. And Mike, of course. I
You
mean,
did
just
too.
going over just everything. And it was amazing. And I wish more people, are able, there's so many people that are just so lost and confused and joining these like creepy websites. Again, you guys saw, I went over the dangers of some of these websites. We played Scam or No Scam, and I hope that was helpful because there's so many people that just don't know,
well, you don't know what you don't know until you know
You don't
it.
know what you don't know. So it was
But here we
great. And
are. Today we are bringing the fire. It's going to be awesome. All right.
everybody, it's going to
So
get
are you
toasty up
ready?
in
Are you
here.
ready to get started?
Woo, it's getting hot.
All right. So before I introduce our first guest speaker of the day, if you are watching us on YouTube, if you are watching us on Facebook, this is your last chance to come join us because this feed is ending. So go to VIPigniteSummit.com and come join us over here on Facebook. On Zoom. One more time, VIPigniteSummit.com. Come join us over here on Zoom because everyone say bye. Peace out, Facebook and YouTube. All right.